I'm going to start out talking a few minutes about AZ Disruptors and what we're all about. Essentially what AZ Disruptors is a software incubator. We're focused 100% on software startups. We're not going to be looking at solar or hardware companies or anything else, biotech, none of that stuff. We only know software, and that's the only place where we can add value. So that's why we're going to focus on doing software startups specifically. And what we're looking for in software startups is companies that have disruptive or can create a disruptive user experience for whoever they're targeting. We're not going to be looking for companies and software products that have never been done before, unlike most VCs and incubators. We're actually going to look for things that have been done before, ideas and things that have been proven out there. The market space is already generating lots of revenue, but the space maybe has a lot of improvements that could be made with it with respect to user experience in particular. And what is user experience? We think that there's three common elements to a disruptive user experience. It's ease of use. It has to be much easier to use than anything else that already exists. It has to be much faster than anything that already exists, and it's got to be cheaper than anything that already exists. These are the three common elements that we think disruptive companies, disruptive software companies have to have. So if you look at all the products that you use today, whether it's Google Search, Gmail, iTunes, iPod, iPhone, Facebook, all of these things, they weren't first to market. They didn't create a product that didn't already exist. All of those products already existed. But what they did is something that was delivering a disruptive user experience. They made it a lot easier to use than it had ever been done before. In Google's case, it was just a single text box that you searched for what you wanted, and the results were unbelievably fast. So if you wanted to search for something, there was no reason to go to Excite or Yahoo or all the other Alta Vista. Yahoo's search engine was actually based on Google, so the search results were identical. So you can't say it was the search results that propelled Google. It was the fact that it was a lot easier to use. It was a disruptive user experience on Google. Likewise with the iPhone and iPod and all of that stuff. So if you look at disruptive companies that come about today, it's because of the user experience. We have companies that come about that are doing the same thing, blogging engines and just simple website creators, and such as what is that blogging tool that we use? Angela is here.
Squarespace.
Squarespace, thank you. I wanted to say Squarespace, but it sounds too much like the Foursquare.
Yeah.
Sorry. But Squarespace, look at these companies. They're bringing disruptive user experiences, and they're killing it out there. So that's what we're going to be looking for. We're not going to be looking for things that have never been done before. I think that's just too narrow of a focus on it. So what we're going to do is have people apply with these ideas up until the application deadline, which is April 29th. And in the first couple of weeks of May, we haven't announced the date yet, but we're going to have them all sort of pitch and compete for up to 5 spaces. We're going to fund up to 5 startups to sort of be part of the incubation at AZ Disruptors. And what we're going to give them is office space, furniture, internet connectivity, and guidance, as well as $20,000 in cash. This is essentially just to pay for their living expenses during a very short time frame while they're in the incubation phase. But the real value here is the guidance that we expect to provide these companies. And the reason for that is because we have 2 anchor companies with Axosoft and Transfer Big Files that are obviously housed out of this office space. And we have people who have done client-server applications, web-based applications, SaaS-based applications. Both of them are offered as a SaaS solution. We have iPhone apps, and there's a lot of things that we have sort of ironed out and over time experienced and sort of fine-tuned that we think we can add value in. So that's why we're focused on software. That's why we're going to be looking for SaaS companies and web-based applications, because that's where we can add value. And on a daily basis, these startups will be able to walk up to the head of engineering for Axosoft, or the head of engineering for Transfer Big Files, or the accounting person, or the sales person, or the marketing person, and say, hey, what do you think of what we're doing here? And be able to immediately get great feedback that they wouldn't be able to otherwise get. So that's where the value, the real value comes in. And we're going to give them approximately 4 months from idea to take companies from idea to where they actually have paying customers, or if it's a free type solution, where they have a ton of users on that free solution. So in that 4-month time frame, we expect them to deliver a product and a viable company that has potential, that it's obvious to see its potential. And what we're going to do is we're going to put them in front of a room full of prospects as well as investors who can see whether or not these ideas make sense, these companies make sense, and take them to the next stage. For companies that make it, great. For companies that don't, we're going to make room for the next wave. So that's essentially the idea that we're trying to adopt at AZ Disruptors. And for our investment, time, efforts, guidance that we're putting into those companies, we're going to take up to a 10% share. We're not going to take more than 10% because we want the entrepreneur, the founders of the company, to be in complete control of the company with 90% share of the company or more. So it's their company. We're here just to make them more successful than they would be otherwise without us. And for companies that have already are slightly in later stages and come to us with more than just the idea, maybe they already have products, maybe they already have revenues, we would actually potentially take a smaller chunk of the shares as well. So we think it should be a model that sort of benefits both, and that's the entire presentation. We're looking for disruptors.